Hello, everybody. Am I live, visible, and audible to everyone? Let's see if we are live. Yes, yes.
Hello,
Yes,
everybody.
yes. I'm live. Let us quickly begin today's class. But before that, it is important for us to discuss what today's date is. Today is 2nd of October, Gandhi Jayanti, the birthday of the father of our nation, right? So, just like how Gandhi ji sacrificed his life and dedicated all his life for this nation, it is our responsibility now to be at least good citizens of this nation, right? All over India today, our government has initiated Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and everyone is doing this extra cleaning today, uh, showing their respect in their own way to Gandhiji. But if you are not doing that, it is okay. But what is important is that you become good citizens of this country. That is how you will pay the real respect to Gandhiji, the real respect to his sacrifice. If you become doctors, become honest doctors. Okay, if you don't become one, it is okay. In whatever uh, whatever you do in your life, be very honest towards it. That will be your actual respect towards Gandhiji. I mean, you don't have to put a happy Gandhi Jayanti on your WhatsApp status. Be good citizens of India. That would be the actual respect towards the father of our nation. Okay. All right. With that, today, let us begin today's class, which is about AIDS. Okay. Now, before we even begin AIDS, let me tell you that today's class is going to be a really mind blowing one, because today I'm going to teach you AIDS in a way which you have never learned before. No YouTuber, no teacher, or no educator on YouTube have ever taught you AIDS in this way. And if you pay enough attention in the class, that would be enough. You don't have to even revise it before you go to your examination hall. All I want you is pay attention. It would be a fantastic session. All right. Okay. But before we begin AIDS, let me tell you that we already have put up a video where we discussed all different diseases from the human health and diseases chapter, whether it be bacterial disease, viral, fungal, protozoan, helminth, all diseases covered in one particular video. You can go watch that in 1.5, 1.75 speed, save your time, and complete the entire disease part of human health and diseases in just one video. Okay, now let's begin our AIDS part of human health and diseases. So, what is AIDS? We all know AIDS is acquired immuno deficiency syndrome. Ma'am, your handwriting is so poor. It is so bad. Well, it is not that bad, my dear. It is just this vacuum which I'm getting used to. My handwriting here is really weird, I understand, but actually, may my handwriting is really good, okay? But bear with this handwriting for some time. It is getting better every single day. But for now, this is what you get, this kind of handwriting. So, coming back to AIDS, which is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. First of all, we need to understand the meaning of it, and most part of AIDS will already be understood by you if you understand the meaning or the full form of AIDS. Okay, as simple as that. So, AIDS, first of all, where are the colors? Here are they. Okay, acquired means we generally acquire them through the exposures. Okay, that is why it is under the acquired disease part. Okay, immunodeficiency, where the immune system is very much hampered. Our immune system becomes deficient, our immune system becomes poor. And syndrome, why is it called a syndrome? Can you tell me why is it called a syndrome? Well, it is called a syndrome because it is not a disease. In a disease, a person dies. in a disease, a person dies, okay? But here, even even here, a person would die. In your NCRT, it is written that AIDS has taken over. Okay, the flight is going over my head. Just 10 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, it's gone. Okay, so you would be like, hey, come on, AIDS takes life. It in our NCRT it is written that AIDS take more than 25 million lives worldwide. It has taken already 25 million lives worldwide, and you are saying that AIDS won't take life? I mean, why? Why are you saying that? Well, because AIDS do not cause a disease as such. AIDS is a syndrome, and syndrome means a group of symptoms. Okay, group of symptoms. And what symptoms are these? Number one, a person would get fever. Okay. Number two, diarrhea. Number two, diarrhea. My diarrhea spelling is wrong. Hmm. And then the person will get weight loss. These are the things that are generally seen in an AIDS patient. But these are not something that would cause death of a person, right? These are not deadly things. We normally have these things in our life. We normally get fever. Diarrhea is something very common through food poisoning, and then a weight loss again can happen anytime in our life. So why is this a big deal? How can it take 25 million lives? Well, that is because AIDS is hampering the soldiers of your life, the immune cells. AIDS, which is caused by the virus, okay, we will talk about that in a minute. That virus goes and infects the immune cell. Now, what are these immune cells? These are the soldiers of our body, right? They protect the body. They go and fight with all the badly pathogens, microorganisms that get tries to get inside our body. They go and fight them, and that is why we are alive. Do you know, normally the human body or the human skin has around 10 to the power 13 microorganisms clinging to our skin. Do you know that? That is normally that happens, okay? And we don't even know how many of them would be successful in getting in through the skin, right? It is very important to be in the sunlight, because sunlight is a very good disinfectant, and it is also very important to have regular bath with good soap. But even then, do you see how much the load is on the skin? And at any time, most of it can go into our system through cut and wounds, through our digestive system, right? Through food, contaminated food and water. So all these are kept away from the body through our immune cells, right? Now, if these immune cells are affected, our body won't be able to fight those normal disease. From normal cough and cold, uh, wait a second. From normal cough, cold, or the normal viral bacterial diseases which subsides within 5 to 10 days normally, like in normal human beings, those normal very mamuli sa disease can be fatal to AIDS patient, because our body do not have good immune cells, no immune cells present to fight anything not very harmful. They can also kill that person. Okay, that is why so many deaths. Okay, now, who causes this HIV? HIV is caused by a virus. It is a viral disease. Viral, okay? That virus is called HIV. Okay? AIDS is caused by HIV. I'm very sorry. Okay? AIDS is caused by HIV. And what is the full form of HIV? Human immunodeficiency virus, right? So this is the virus that can cause such a havoc to human life. Do you see that? How 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 many lives are affected by this tiny micro level organism, virus, right? Now, we have already learned what virus can cause to us during the COVID, right? We have seen how our world was turned upside down during COVID, right? So, but what the human, society did, the scientists, the researchers, they came up with vaccines, and we were able to eradicate uh, COVID to a large extent. We now can move around without mask, right? So if this is the problem with AIDS, and this is something that has started from 18th something, I mean from the 18th century itself, it has started targeting human life. So why we don't have a vaccine towards AIDS? Do you know, if a person is infected by HIV virus and that person is diagnosed with AIDS, there is no cure to it, no cure, no vaccine to it. So sad, you see. So why is it? Because COVID came, we fought with COVID, and now we are living freely, right? We are not contaminated with COVID virus anymore, right? So why for so many years scientists are not able to fight this HIV virus? Well, that is because HIV virus is very cunning. It keeps changing, it keeps modifying. Okay? We will understand it better when we learn about how it gets into the body and what it does inside the body. Okay? Now, again, another very important thing about this HIV virus is that this HIV virus takes around, on an approx, 5 to 10 years to cause this, to actually show up the symptoms of AIDS. So, what was it doing inside the human body for 5 to 10 years? It was replicating, forming an army of HIV virus inside the body, but not showing any symptoms. Now, you must be wondering that, hey, our body has an army of immune cells. What was the immune cells doing for so long? Why was it not able to kill it for 5 to 10 years? Again, this is a very cunning virus. It is very cunning. And we will see how it fools our immune system in just a second. Okay? But before that, it's important for us to understand how one uh, gets HIV virus. How is it transmitted? Okay? Transmission is important. Well, HIV virus, first of all, can be transmitted to a person's body through blood transfusion. Blood transfusion. Okay. If you go to a place where your blood needs to be given to somebody else, first your blood would be withdrawn. It will be tested if it has any infection, viral, bacterial infection, before giving it to somebody else. Okay. But if that is done, if it is not properly done, or out of some ignorance, it is left, and the blood is directly transfused to another person, then these kind of viral infection can spread. So first of all is blood transfusion. Now we have also learned about a disease called thalassemia, right, where a person regularly needs to change his blood. Let me write hey, what is this? Thalassemia. Okay, so in diseases like this where repeated blood transfusion is required, in those diseases as well, it's very important to check what kind of a blood is being put into the patient's body. Okay, blood transfusion can be one. Then number two, the second one is through sexual contact. Sexual contact. Third one is through using razors and needles which are contaminated with HIV virus. And number four, it could be transferred from mother to the newborn fetus through placenta. Okay, through placenta. Now, coming back to the second point, sexual contact. So this happens to a person who has multiple sexual partners. Okay, and nowadays it has become so casual to have a sexual relationship with somebody, and many people have sexual contact with people whose sexual history is not known. He will not know, he or she will not know that the partner he is having sexual relationship with had already had multiple partners, and who among them were HIV positive or was infected with a virus was not known. So it is very important that whenever a person has sexual contact with unknown person or a person whose history is not known, or nowadays even with a person whose history is known, it is very important that we use the barrier method. What is the barrier method? Condoms. Condoms. Now, this is the only method that prevents sexually transmitted diseases. In the reproductive health chapter, we will read about it in detail, but it is very important that condoms are used during sexual contact, and it is the only means that will save you from sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, that is why government of India, through many of its initiative, gives out free condom to people. Okay, all right. Then the third point is using razors and needles. This is especially for the boys who go out and trim their beard, or use sit in the beard shop and ask the person barber to clean shave, and then he uses the razor which was already used on a patient which was HIV positive. Maybe he got a cut, his blood was on the blade, and then he shaves you and you get a cut, and then the same blood which was contaminated with HIV virus was got in touch with your blood as well. A simple touch with your blood is enough. End of the game. You would be infected with HIV virus and you would not even know about it. Okay, so that was the case with razors. And then needles are something nowadays you must have seen. Very young boys and girls, they are so much into drug abuse. They intravenously inject drugs into their body and use the same needles, right? This is for drug intake. Now, all those drug addicts, what happens? We don't have electricity now. All those drug addicts, that's why you get to see a little dark room. But okay, it's important for us to understand the concept. It's okay if I appear a little dark or this room appear a little dark. It's fine. Okay, it's important for us to understand the concept, which I'm pretty sure you will understand fantastically well after the end of this class. Okay, but before that, we will quickly talk about the transmission procedure. One was blood transfusion, second is sexual contact, Third is through razors and needles. Yeah, I was talking about needles, that the drug addicts, they are normally people who are failures in life. Okay, they get into drugs and they waste everything. They give up all their money, their property, and they are normally people who end up being very poor. So they don't have money to buy multiple syringe. Okay, and they use the same syringe. The drug addict will use the syringe, give it to his friend, he will use it, he will pass it to somebody else, and that is how the same syringe or the same needle is used multiple times by drug addicts, and that is how they are contaminated with this virus. And then fourth is something which the newborn or the placenta has no fault in it. It is transferred from mother to the newborn through placenta. So it is very important that a pregnant lady is very carefully diagnosed if she has this virus in her body or not. Okay, this is called transplacental transmission. Okay, so this is how it is transmitted. All right, now we will talk about what this virus looks like, what it does when it gets into a cell, and why our immune system, sits silently for 5 to 10 years and do not fight back this HIV virus. This is super funny, right? When something, bacteria or other viruses gets into our body, our immune system becomes super high. I mean, it is hyperactive. It goes and fights with them like crazy. So why not with HIV virus, right? Why not with HIV virus? We will get to know that in a second. But before that, let me quickly make an HIV virus here. We will see what's inside. Don't worry, we will get to see what's inside. But for now, let's make an HIV virus. And this HIV virus somehow got into your body. Okay, how it got into your body? We just now learned about the transmission of HIV virus, right? So it got into your body. It got into your body. Okay, and where it enters? The blood vessels, right? So let me do it with red color. It gets into your blood. Now in the blood, what it does in the blood, this is our blood vessel. Okay, and this is our HIV virus who got into the body and is moving around. It got into the body and is moving around. Okay, moving around like, oh, what happened? I have to make it again. Please bear with me, kids. Okay, I'll draw my HIV not in red color. It has to be black because it is bad, right? So HIV, this is HIV, and then we will make blood vessels. These are human blood vessel. Where is it? Okay, these are human blood vessels. Okay, this is the human blood. Okay, in our blood, what we have? We have RBCs, right? We have RBCs, and then we also have immune cells, right? We also have immune cells. Now, the difference between these two cells are that the immune cells have a receptor which is called CD4 receptor. Okay, these receptors are called CD4 receptors. CD4 receptors. These are present only on immune cells. Okay, these cells have CD4 receptors. What is the importance of CD4 receptors now? CD means cluster of differentiation 4. Okay, but we don't need to know about it in detail. We just have to understand that these cells are different from RBCs, red blood cells. Okay, and these are our immune cells. Let me write IC, or let's just write macrophage. No, immune cells. We will write immune cells, okay? So these are all immune cells. Now, you know what? HIV, this HIV is very cunning. I mean, I cannot tell you how intelligent it is. It has proteins on its surface. Okay, I'll draw a few to save some time. And this protein is called GP120. Okay, GP120. GP120 simply means glycoprotein 120. Glyco, what comes to your mind when we say glyco or glycogen? Glucose comes to our mind, right? So let us just say just how glucose is very sweet. This protein acts very sweetly with the CD4 receptors of immune cells. Okay, so this protein, this is a very badmash protein. Okay, it gets into the body and first gets into the blood vessels, and then it goes out for the look out for CD4 receptors. It will go and hit the RBC to check if it is an immune cell, and he will find no CD4 receptor here. Then it will cross that RBC. It will hit another cell. No, it is also not an immune cell. Let's go to another one. It will go to the third cell. No, it is also not an immune cell. And this way, while going through the blood, it will come across an immune cell. Okay, he will find the CD4 receptor and boom, it will fuse with the immune cell. Okay, it will fuse with the immune cell. Its membrane will fuse with the immune cell, and that would be the end of the story of that immune cell. Poor immune cell. Okay, so this GP120, how will we remember it? GP means glycoprotein 120. From glyco, remember that it is a very sweet protein. It acts very sweetly initially with CD4 receptors, and these CD4 receptors would be like, okay, this seems to be a very sweet kind of an alien entity. So it shakes hand, and the moment it shakes hand, CD4 and GP120. End of the story. Okay, now we will see what happens when it fuses. Okay, what would happen when it fuses with the CD4 cell or the immune cell. But before that, we need to know what this HIV has come into the body with. What, just like we are checked in the airport, right? Our luggage is checked in the airport. Let us check what this HIV has brought with us into the human body. Okay, this is an HIV virus. It has a lipid bilayer, just like our cell membrane. Exactly like our cell membrane, they have this lipid bilayer membrane, exactly like human cell membrane. Okay, lipid bilayer. Okay, let's write it on the other side. This is lipid bilayer. Okay, which one? This two here are lipid bilayer, exactly the same as the human cell membrane. No difference. Then on the surface, it has this GP120, right? Let me draw a few. This is GP120, GP120, glycoprotein 120. Okay, it is a glycoprotein, a protein on the surface of HIV virus. Now we will scan through its inside. Okay, we will see what is it carrying inside. So inside we get to see a bag. Okay, an envelope or a bag. What is this bag? This is called the capsid. Capsid. Okay, it has a bag inside. Now let us see what it has inside its bag. Okay, inside the bag, we need to peek into the bag of the HIV. So inside the bag that it carries, it has two strands, two strands of RNA, two strands, two strands of RNA. It carries two strands of RNA. Do you see that? And that is why HIV virus is also called retrovirus. Retrovirus because its genetic material is of ancient type, only made of RNA, and that too single-stranded RNA. Okay, so its genetic material is single-stranded RNA, and it has two of them. Okay, all right, and along with that, it brings in three friends. Okay, it has three friends along with it. What are the name of these friends? Number one is the yellow friend. Okay, number two is the blue friend. Okay, yellow, blue, and green. But their name is very funny. They have funny name. The yellow one, this one here, its name is R. For now, let's just name it R. The blue one, its name is I. And green, right? The green one, its name is P. RIP. When do we write RIP? When somebody dies, right? We write it down as a short form of rest in peace. So does it mean whenever a HIV gets into the body, we need to say that, okay, you have very less time. Let me tell you now, rest in peace. Is it that? No, definitely not. Now, let's say this HIV virus entered this cell. Let's make a very big cell because it will do a lot of stuff inside the cell. And just to show you what it does, I have to make a very big cell. There you go. Okay, this is the very big cell, human, human immune cell. Especially, it first go and infects the macrophages. So let's write macrophage. It's a macrophage cell. Now, if you're getting confused about what this macrophage is, what are these immune cells, today at 10 p.m. we are going to have a fantastic session on immunology. From basic, you will get to learn everything related to our immune system. Okay, if any of these terms are kind of confusing or puzzling for you, you can go and watch that video or that live session that is going to come today at 10 p.m. All right, okay, now this is just a normal immune cell, which is a macrophage. Okay, it will have CD4 receptors, right? It will have CD4 receptors. That is why CD4 receptors, that is why this HIV virus could hit into this cell and would now be able to get into this cell, right? Now, what happens when it hits this cell? The cell membranes will fuse. Okay, the cell membranes will fuse. So this part, they will fuse. Okay, they will fuse, and this HIV will release everything that it has brought with it into this cell. Okay, everything that it has brought with it, the luggage that it has carried, it will leave it into the cell. First of all, the single stranded RNAs, they will leave, and those three friends. Okay, R is yellow, R, I, and P. RIP will come into this cell. Okay, now what is the intention of the virus? To get into the human body, right? To get into the human body and make many virus babies. They just want to reproduce, they just want to increase their population. So their intention is to come into the human body and make many virus babies, but they don't have that mechanism inside of them. They cannot replicate on their own. So they get into human body, they take the help of the human cell. And our human cells are very expert in making copies of themselves, right? Our cells keep reproducing, growing, right? Our cells also make proteins which are required for the body. So our cells are expert in doing these. So these HIV virus, they make this strategy like, oh my god, they are experts, so why not we give the task of manufacturing our babies to human cells. And you know what, this foolish macrophage will end up doing that. It will make up virus babies. Let's see how. So first of all, we will have to talk about how the human body or human cell works. We have DNAs, right? We have our own DNAs. This is a DNA, and this DNA is transcribed into mRNA, right? And it is translated into protein. That is how any system or any cell in our body functions. Okay. Now, this HIV has come into the body as RNAs, single-stranded RNAs. Okay. Now, our body do not know how to make mRNA from it, right? Only mRNA could be translated to proteins, and in order to make viruses, we need to make proteins. These are not mRNAs. Remember, these are not mRNAs. These are just simple random RNAs that this HIV has bought. But our body has no tool, it has no equipment to make protein out of these random RNAs. Our body only understands how mRNA could be transformed into protein. Okay? And this virus, they are super cunning, you know. I already told you they are super intelligent. It came with three friends, right? So one of these friends, this yellow one, let's make this yellow one here. Okay, this yellow one, let's make its face as well. Okay, this yellow one, what it does, it has two jobs. First of all, this yellow one, what it does, let me make the RNA a little longer. Okay, and let me remove the other RNA. Okay, I can't. Okay, there you go. I'll just show what it does with just one RNA, okay? But this is what it ends up doing with both the RNAs, but we will just talk about one. With one of its hands, what it would, with one of its hands, what it will do, it will make a of complementary pair of this RNA, okay? It will make a complementary pair or a complementary strand of this RNA, okay? With the other hand, it will dissolve the RNA that HIV has bought with it, okay? It will slowly dissolve the RNA that it has bought with it, okay? And then form a complementary DNA, complementary strand of the other strand. Do you see how it does that? First job it did was it made a copy of the it made a complementary copy of the viral RNA. Okay, with its second hand, what it did, it dissolved the viral RNA and made a complementary copy of the other strand. So this now is viral DNA. And this particular friend, whose name is R, is actually reverse transcriptase. Reverse transcriptase enzyme. It carries it along with the other friends in its capsid because it knows that there is no mechanism inside human cell, or there is no tool inside human cell where I can convert my RNA into DNA. So it carries reverse transcriptase enzyme along with it. This is very important. Remember this. It is a very probable question for NEET 2024. The HIV virus carries reverse transcriptase along with it. Okay, and this reverse transcriptase, what it did, it is very cunning. You see, it is smiling. What it did, it converted the viral RNA into viral DNA. Now what? Now let's make a human nucleus. Again, let's make it in the square form so that I get enough space. There you go. This human nucleus, the nucleus has nuclear pores, right? Nuclear pores here and there. And we have our genetic material lying inside this nucleus, right? Let's say this is the human DNA. Okay, this is the human DNA. Now, the second job or the second intention of this virus is to put this viral DNA that it has made. Let me write R here. This is reverse transcriptase. Okay, this reverse transcriptase made a viral DNA. Now, our nucleus works with our DNA only, right? So, what it does, it brings another friend which is blue in color. This is the friend. Okay, this is the friend. Its name is what? I means integrase. Okay, I simply means integrase. And can you guess what this integrase does? It will again do two things. It has two hands again. This integrase, this is I. Integrase has two hands. With one hand, it will make a cut into the human DNA. See how powerful it is. It will make a cut in the human DNA. Okay, so with that cut, what happens? Our DNA strand is broken. Okay, this is how it would look like. This is how it would look like. It is broken. Integrase enzyme that virus has bought has made a cut in our DNA. With its second hand, again, it has two hands, right? One hand did the cutting and the other hand takes this viral DNA. See how cunning they are. Takes this viral DNA and incorporates it into the human DNA. Viral DNA integrated into human DNA through integrase. This is the second friend that virus brings with it. Do you see? And our human body would not even know that while replicating or while producing the human protein, it is making viral proteins as well. Viral proteins. Okay, this viral protein will get out of the nucleus. Okay, but again there is one friend left, right? P. So the viral protein, what would the viral protein have? Everything that makes up the virus, right? It will have protein called GP120. It will have the capsid protein. It will have all these different enzymes. It will have the RNAs, right? But all of those are made into one single protein. They are very cunning. They are like, we would not even let the human body understand what it is. We will bind them all together like a chain, and the human body or the human cell won't even understand what's happening. Okay, so this viral protein gets out in a stitched form, all stitched in one single strand, and then it has another friend, P. Okay, P is like a Caesar. Okay, it is like a Caesar. It is like a Caesar which cuts down, which again, let's make its face. Okay, let's make its face. It will cut this viral protein into smaller pieces. Okay, and these smaller pieces slowly will migrate. Okay, let me make this blue colored thing here. These smaller pieces will slowly migrate towards the cell surface, and gradually, you know what happens? It starts bulging. The cell surface starts to bulge out. The cell surface will start bulging out like this. So this virus will not make its own cell membrane, this lipid bilayer. It will pinch a part of the human macrophage cell and would take the human macrophage cell membrane and would make it its own membrane. So all these viral proteins will gradually get into it, okay, and this where is it gone, and this part here will pinch off, okay, and all these proteins inside it will assemble exactly like how an HIV virus should look, and this is how you get HIV babies, more HIV viruses. This is how millions and millions of HIV viruses are formed. This is how macrophages are infected. And again, since I didn't speak about the P, okay, this is called protease. Protease enzyme. Its job is to cut down the protein into smaller pieces. This is P. Clear? Did you understand? Did you enjoy learning about HIV's replication process in a storytelling manner? I hope you understood and you would never forget it. Because it's very easy. HIV comes with 2 RNA strands and 3 friends called R, I, and P. R is reverse transcriptase that converts the viral RNA into viral DNA, right? Viral RNA into viral DNA. And then I, it integrates, it cuts the human DNA and integrates the viral DNA into it. And protease, it cuts the viral protein, long chain viral protein into smaller pieces and makes it, you know, a complete virus at the end of the day. This is how it works. All right. If you have understood it, then please, even if you watch it later, please comment down so that I would understand that yes, this story is helping kids understand about viral replication better. Okay, so this is the virus replication process. This is how it replicates or it increases its population inside the human body. Understood? Now, the next question is, what is our immune system doing? Is our immune system, I see, is our immune system sleeping? Is it sleeping? Well, no. Generally, if a cell is infected by virus, what happens? The cell would ask for help, or with the help of certain chemical messengers, it would announce that, hey, I'm infected by virus. The cells which are around me, you save yourself because I'm already infected. I'm going to die, but you people save yourself. Okay? It represents it with the help of a protein called MHC, about which we will study in detail in our immunity class, so don't worry about it. So MHC is a protein with the help of which the cells which are infected by virus, they represent that virus to the immune cells. So the immune cells that are patrolling the body, which is moving around the blood, looking out for virus, bacteria, or any fishy thing that enters the body, they are on a lookout for all those things, okay? But you know what this HIV virus does? It is so cunning that it, first of all, replicates so fast when it enters the body and produces protein which suppresses the immune cell protein, which suppresses the macrophage to not produce this MHC. This MHC won't be produced inside the macrophage. So this macrophage won't even be able to ask for help from the immune cell. And this immune cell would be moving around this macrophage thinking that this macrophage is completely fine, and it would not even know that this big drama is happening inside this macrophage, this poor macrophage, you see. And only once this viral load inside the macrophage is huge, only then the immune cells are alarmed that yes, there is something wrong. Okay, so the second target of immune cells after macrophages are T cells. T cells are very, very important immune cells. Okay, they are masterminds, or they are very good warriors of our immune cells. And these T cells are very badly affected by these HIV virus. They are killed. We have very, very minute quantity of T cells left after being infected by HIV virus. Okay, and we become immunosuppressed, and that is how all different kind of viruses, pathogens get to enter the human body, and they are killed. Okay, I hope you understood this process and enjoyed how I transferred this knowledge to you. Now let us quickly see what is written in our NCERT textbook. Okay, about AIDS, it has said that AIDS stands for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Syndrome means a group of symptoms. We learned that already. AIDS was first reported in 1981. And do you know AIDS is something that we have got from the chimpanzees? Yes, chimpanzees or chimps. Yes, this is a virus which has transferred to humans from the chimps, just like how coronavirus, we got coronavirus from bats, right? These are zoonotic diseases. Okay, you don't have to write down those things, but this is a disease which has come from the animals to humans, okay? And it has come from the chimpanzees, and it was first reported in 1981. And in the last 25 years or so, it has spread all over the world, killing more than 25 million people. Yes, AIDS is caused by human immunodeficiency virus, which is a retrovirus. Again, we understood, since it has two single stranded RNAs, it is called a retrovirus. How is it transmitted? Sexual contact with infected person, by transfusion of contaminated blood and blood products, by sharing infected needles, as in the case of intravenous drug abusers, okay, from infected mother to child through placenta. That we discussed already, right? Now, what else is given in the NCERT? Let's look at that as well. Okay, okay. Individuals who have multiple sexual partners, obviously they will be affected. Drug addicts who take drugs intravenously through needles, sharing needles. Individual who require repeated blood transfusion, patients like thalassemia patients, right? Children born to an HIV infected mother, these are high risk of getting infected, right? Okay, and here it is written that there is always a time lag between the infection and the appearance of AIDS symptoms. This period may vary from few months to many years, usually 5 to 10 years, and this is called the incubation period. Incubation period. This is the time it can sit quietly inside a body without causing any symptom. But then during that time, that person who is infected can be a very good transmitter of that disease. Okay. Now, what is the treatment? Well, first we have to talk about diagnosis, right? Diagnosis. How is a person diagnosed whether he has AIDS? It is through an immunological test known as ELISA. ELISA, its full form is enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Okay, this is the first test that is done in order to check if a person is HIV positive or HIV negative. But again, there is another confirmatory test. This is through this, it is not confirmed. Okay, another confirmatory test is through Western blotting. Okay, through Western blotting, it is confirmed whether a person has ELISA or not. But during COVID, we saw that the artificial PCR, PCR. We will study about PCR in detail in biotechnology. It is again a very interesting procedure through which even a single DNA particle, if present of any other organism inside the body, it could be found out. So PCR again is a confirmatory polymerase chain reaction is the full form, is again a confirmatory test for AIDS. Okay, this is the confirmatory test. Now, do we have any treatment? Let's study here only. Let's write it down here. Do we have any treatment? Treatment. Now, antiretroviral drug is given to the patient who has HIV, who is infected with HIV. But again, this is not for curing the patient. We don't have any cure yet, but this is just to enhance or prolong the life of the patient, because we don't have any treatment or cure for this HIV virus yet. Because once the HIV gets into the body, once it damages the DNA of the human body, gets into the DNAs of the cells of the human body, nothing could be done. There is no process discovered yet with the help of which the human DNA could be, analyzed, the viral DNA could be plugged out of it. And to do that for every single cell in the human body, it's impossible. Because initially it does affect the macrophages only, but then later it infects the T cells and all good immune cells. And once the immune cells are compromised, nothing could be done, right? All other infections, which are also known as opportunistic infections, opportunistic infection. During COVID, you must have heard that people who have recovered from COVID, or during the phase of fighting with the COVID virus, that person got some black fever or yellow fever kind of thing, yellow disease. The tongue would become black, yellow, all sort of things, right? Those are caused by very non-harmful bacteria and viruses which lingers around human body and has no capacity to harm human body. But since during COVID the immune system is compromised to such a level that those bacteria, viruses, they find an opportunity to hit into the human body and cause disease. Okay, those are called opportunistic diseases. Now, since there is no control, or since there is no treatment to it, we can only prevent it. Okay, and to talk about prevention, we need to go back to the slide where we discussed about how it is transmitted. Okay, how it is transmitted through blood transfusion. So we need to be very careful that, and we need to check that blood from unknown person without proper diagnosis procedure is not transferred into another person. Number two, no sexual contact without barrier method, and no, and we should not have multiple sexual partners, right? Number three is not to use razors. Okay, even in hostels or in whatever place you stay in, make sure that you buy your own pair of razors. And then do not, obviously drug abuse is a bad thing. Do not use needles that are already used. In good hospitals, we see that they are very well disposed. They have proper machines in which the needles are put and they are disposed. And even if you go to a doctor and you need to get injections for some reason, make sure that you ask the nurse or the doctor to open the fresh packet in front of you. This is very important. If you have any doubt that this needle has been used before, you need to raise a voice, because one small mistake can take your life and can deteriorate the life of not just you but everyone associated with you, right? So be very, very careful about it. Then mother to fetus, so this poor baby have nothing to do, or it has no fault. But again, when we talk about prevention, it's very important that mothers are very properly diagnosed, so that they don't end up giving a deadly disease to a newborn baby, to someone who has not done anything wrong but would be born into this world with a very deadly disease, right? Okay, so that was about prevention in our country. But when there is such a deadly disease, our country, our government also does a lot in order to prevent or in order to spread awareness, right? So in our country, National AIDS Control Organization, or NACO, remember this name because it is in your NCERT and there are high chances that you would be asked questions regarding this organization. What is NACO? National AIDS Control Organization. Okay, and other government organizations, other non-governmental organizations, sorry, NGOs, many NGOs and NACO together are on a mission to spread awareness about AIDS. They are going to a lot of places to educate, doing a lot to educate people about AIDS. World Health Organization, again, another important body, who has started a number of programs to prevent spreading HIV infection, making blood from blood banks safe from HIV. In the blood banks, the blood is stored, right, so that it can be given to someone immediately when someone is in need, right? So those blood which are stored in the blood banks are very carefully monitored if they have HIV virus in them or not. Ensuring the use of only disposable needles, very important, and syringe in public and private hospitals and clinics. Free distributions of condom, controlling drug abuse, advocating safe sex, and promoting regular checkups for HIV is susceptible populations are some of such steps taken up, right? These are the steps taken by World Health Organization, NACO. Many NGOs are working in the ground to spread awareness, right? Now, HIV, as I told you, is spread through what? If anything comes in contact with the blood. It also transfers through placenta and also through sexual contact when any body fluid comes in contact with us. Okay, but does that mean that if you shake hands with an HIV patient, you will get HIV? No. Yes, it is a communicable disease if you have sexual contact with the person, or if the blood somehow gets in touch with the blood of yours. Only then it is transmitted. It is never transferred if you hug a person who has HIV, if you shake hands with a person who has HIV, if you sit near a person who has HIV. So never discriminate a person who has HIV. Never, make him feel bad about that condition, right? So it is important that for us to understand that infection with HIV or having AIDS is something that should not be hidden. First of all, if you have HIV, it is very important that you tell people, or first of all, it's important to go and get checked. And if you get to know that yes, unfortunately you have got HIV, it's very important to share it with people who cares about you, so that you don't end up transmitting this deadly disease to anybody else. Okay, since then the infection may spread to many people. Okay, HIV or AIDS infected people need help and sympathy. Please do not discriminate. Instead of being shunned by the society should never look down upon them, thinking that, oh my god, this person must have had multiple sexual partners, he is a bad person, that is why he has got this deadly disease. We should never do that, because we never know what condition he was in. We never know, maybe he was a victim of ignorance. Maybe he went to a hospital and someone used needles on him. Okay, so one should show sympathy instead of mocking or laughing at that person. Unless society recognizes it as a problem to be dealt with in a collective manner, the chances of wider spread of the disease increases manifold. It is a malady that can only be tackled by the society and medical fraternity acting together to prevent the spread of the disease. So this was about AIDS. Yes, so when you become doctors, make sure that the place you work has proper guidelines maintained, that nobody uses or nobody does this even by mistake to use used needles on patients. So this was about HIV. So today at 10 p.m. we are going to do questions that has been asked before related to HIV, and we are also going to discuss in detail about immunity. I hope you enjoyed this class today. You enjoyed how I taught you the replication procedure about these three friends called RIP. Okay, so see you in the class today at 10 p.m. where again we are going to have a fantastic session about immunity. Okay, see you in the class, kids. Bye bye.